الحمد لله الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد. Time is one of the most important favors from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the point that if you do not have Iman but you still have time, you can get it. If you have, obviously, Iman is the best gift and the best favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing compared to that. The rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's nothing compared to that. But if you have time, you can still have it. If you didn't have time, you can even not have the Iman. Someone who, God forbid, rejected faith in the early stage of their life, they still have time, they can still mend it and come back to the truth. Someone who was a Muslim and through some bad company, wrong ideas, opted to leave faith, God forbid, apostatize, but still have time, he can come back to that. So in that regard, in that respect, it is the most important gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the time. If you had time, that is why people, when they come on the day of judgment, after the death, the only thing they would say, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us one more chance. Give us one second to go back to the world. Once we would pay back everything, we would compensate for everything. Even if we had whole earth, whole earth, worth of gold, filled with gold. That much gold we would donate within a second without thinking. We would do it straight away. You give us that much gold, we would just pay back straight away to your path. But just one chance. Just one chance. And this is something that we observe in our life as well. You're speeding and just didn't realize the camera and got the ticket. Oh my goodness, if only I could just go back and I wasn't looking at there or here. 1 second. And especially if this is going to give you penalty points to the point that you're going to lose your license. So you have to do all over again. You're driving and you accidentally hit something and you cause a damage. And now you know, my goodness, my insurance is going to go up. If accidentally got someone killed, then even worse. I'll be in jail or whatever. I lose my license and everything. 1 second, maybe 30 seconds, less than a minute, that could be so vital. Sometimes if only I could reverse that, if I only could go back just by that much. In that regard, time is really very precious, very important. So we should value it. You can achieve whatever you want to. So that's why we have to take advantage of that. And those kids who play game, they know it very well. You keep trying, but there's a lifeline. You see that. You have to do it in certain time. If you lose your time and you can do it, it doesn't matter. Then you lose. You have that, heart pumping. And when it's coming to end time, you see how it is just doing very fast. So crucial, the time. Otherwise, you lose on the game. That's why I keep trying. The good thing about games is that you can just come back to it. You can keep playing however many times you want. But life is not like that. The actual time is not like that. That's just a plaything. And that is why we tend to not encourage people to play those games, because these games have built in within themselves so many wrong ideas that it somehow train and nurture you and reinforce you for the negative ideas. It's about, oh, I can have another life. Oh, I can come back. That sort of thing. So what? It's only a game. Or we consider all the things around us as games. So psychologically, we get completely corrupted into those ideas. We live in a very, very false environment, and that becomes a lifeline. And if you lose that game, although you were losing anyway, but it happened that your mom called you, oh, come for food. Oh, see, I just lost it because he called me. You just feel completely frustrated by that. Your brother come or younger sister come, and she was like, can I have? Oh, you called me to lose the game. And you feel that the world is gone. And you become so crazy in that moment. I'm not going to eat food now. I can't be doing this. You feel like, subhanAllah. And you know it. This is all game, all fake. But it It makes you feel so real in that you are actually completely oblivious to the world around you. That's how you get manipulated. You see, even adults watching TV, dramas, cartoons, films, and they know it's all fake, all made up. And boys, girls, senior, junior, crying for some episode that was like, it showed that enemy just like tortured this, hero or whatever. And people are like, oh, ooh. A football match, for different games, everyone is just, oh my goodness. And they start calling names, literally getting crazy about this. See, he was sell out. He must have done it. There was a bribery going. This is already planned games. And we start bickering, talking, and getting frustrated. This is how we get completely corrupted. But anyway, there was a side point about the games, but make sure that you live in the real world. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this particular hadith, he said, "Ala unabbi'ukum bi khiyarikum." Shall I not tell you who is the best among you? قالوا بلى يا Rasul. They said, Ya Rasulullah, definitely we want to know this. He said, خياركم أطولكم أعمارا. The best among you are those who are longest in their life, means they've got good age. And وأحسنكم أخلاقا. And then you had the best character, means you were following the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every respect. So having long life is a favor, is a blessing in many, many respects. A man came and he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, ayyul nasi khair? What is and who is the best among people? And he said, Man tala umuru, whose life was long, wa hasuna amalu, and his actions were good. Qala fa ayyun nasi shar? Yani Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the worst of them? He said, Man tala umuru, the one who had long life, wa sa'a amalu, yet his actions were bad. So obviously the flip side is there as well. That is why one of the pious men, he was asked about how do you keep yourself on the track and you are in your 70s and 80s. He said, I look at young people and I say, they are better than me. It means why don't you get arrogant? Why don't you get this self-respect and pride? You're so humble. How do you nurture that among you? Why don't you look down upon people? He said, when I see someone younger than me, I say, MashaAllah, this is better than me. He had less time to sin than myself. I'm a bigger sinner. When I see someone older, I say, oh, wow, better than me, because he had long time to do good deeds than myself. And we do the opposite way. We look at young and say, what do you know about? However, is your age? I've done that much hajj in my life, outing of prayer, of different good deeds. And when you look at the old man, yeah, I know he's doing all sajdas and prayer in the masjid. What he has done in youth, we know. Every saint has a past, we know. No so chuwe khake, billi chagli hajj ko. You're performing your hajj now after you've already eaten. This cat has already eaten 90 rats. But this was the meaning is. Well, it means that you've been sinner all your life. Now you're trying to pretend that you're good. I'm gonna get appreciating it at home. I am better than you. So this is our attitude, but this is the pious people attitude. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ightanim khamsan qabla khams." Take advantage of 5 things before 5 things. Shababaka qabla haramik. Your youth before your old age. Because as you're young, you can benefit a lot. You can do a lot many things. وَصِحَّتِكَ قَبْلَ السَّقَمِ. And sihatik, your health. Take advantage of your health before you become weak and sick. وَغِنَاكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. Take advantage of your wealth. When you're rich, you can have things before you become poor. وَفِرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِ. Take a free time and utilize that time before you become busy in doing something. وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ. And take advantage of your life before you die. And you would see that we never have all these blessings. Life is a blessing. Likewise, time is a blessing. Wealth is a blessing. Health is a blessing. But you would never have all of these together in one time, except in Jannah. That is why we look for Jannah. In this world, you can't have everything. You're small, 1 month, 2 months, 2-year-old baby, lying in the bed, not going to school yet. They have free time to the max. No one can beat them for free time. All free time. You can do whatever. But they're not as strong. They can't do many things. They actually can't even walk, maybe crawl. They're learning to walk. If they run, they just can't do the best. So they're weak, but they've got plenty of time. Are they rich? They're not rich. They haven't got any money. They're dependent. They go a little older like yourself. You're so strong, you can beat your father in your race this age, 10, 12, 8, 9, 10. So you're quite strong with regards to certain activities. And you've got time as well, but not as much as your younger brother or sister, but better than your father. So you've got some time. You're still not very strong compared to 25 and 30-year-old, compared to your father maybe, or your mother maybe. Yeah, and you're not as rich either. You may have some savings, some pocket money, some whatever, some ED. But when you come to 20, 25, 30, in that range, you are really the strongest. You've got a lot of wealth because now you're working, so hopefully you would have enough to spend on, even if you do the day-to-day stuff and you don't save anything, even then you have money to spend, isn't it, compared to the young. But do you have time? No time, because you're busy earning, and when you come home, you have your family to look after, tend to their needs, done, no time. And you have next 20, 30 years, keep working for that, slowly, slowly getting weaker and weaker. You're full of health at that point. That's why you could do whatever you could do. You come to old age, you've got your own house now, mortgage free, maybe 2 properties, 3 properties. In your 60s, you've got back pain, you've got high blood pressure, you've got diabetes, you've got this problem, you can't do many things. Cholesterol, or bypass. Cardiac bypass means heart attack. You had the stent put in, there's some like operations done. And now you are so weak and frail, you need to hold on to someone to come to the masjid. You're getting weaker and weaker. Rich man, no health. But now you retired, plenty of time again, as you had when you were a small baby, sitting there doing nothing. Day in, day out, time cannot be utilized because I don't have anything to do. I'm in bed waiting for someone to come and say hi to me. One of my patients, she was in 80s. So I said, Mrs. So-and-so, I would suggest that you shouldn't come because it's too much for you to just walk from even to the door to here. She was on oxygen, walking like that. And, you're wasting your time here. I can just do the consultation. In those days, we didn't have phone consultation. I'm talking about like 2016, 17. You know what she said to me? Dr. Anwar, you don't know. This is the only time I have human interaction. 6 months. I wait for this 6 months and I start preparing for this for a month before that because I have nothing else to do. I was so shocked. Well, how come no family? No family, no family. No one is there to help me. I was all by myself. I had a son, like from whatever, and then he's gone. He hates me. He doesn't come to me for the last 30 years. I don't know what he was doing. I said, what about the neighbors? I said, the problem is my neighborhood only there's a Indonesian lady, very nice. She comes to me to help me, but she doesn't speak English. I can't speak to her. I thought, what about television? Do you get any radio shows or talks, people talking to you? And then as I'm so deaf, without hearing it, I can't. So I put the volume on. I've got complaint from the other neighbor. So the council barred me from raising the voice too high. So I can't hear. And I'm blind in a sense that I can't see it literally. I have to look at it like that. It doesn't make any enjoyment if you're standing and watching it coming too close. So actually, I do not have any interaction from people. I was completely shocked. Someone who is on oxygen, a frail lady, just living on her own. So she said, I get my, every 2, 3 days, I keep checking that. And then, oh, it doesn't look that nice. Let me change it. So many clothes there. I just keep matching and mixing, thinking that I can. I felt like, crying for this lady. You know what? As many times as you want, I can make it every 3 months just for your sake. So that is how. Free time, wealth, no health, no companion, nothing. You lose. So these favors are not going to be with you all the time. If you don't value them, when the time is there, then you can't have anything. You don't value it now, you will regret all your life. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran. Then, oh, you believers, if you show gratitude, I will increase my favor. And if you do not, rather if you be ungrateful, then my punishment is severe. Okay, so make sure that we do not fall prey to shaitan. Another hadith, one of the best ones, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is the state that we are all in. نعمتان مغبون فيما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ. Two blessings, two favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Most favors are, many people are completely in regards to these and loss. They don't even care about that. They don't know the value of these two times. These two basic, fundamental, as-sihha, the health, wal-faragh, the free time. We have time and we waste it without realizing what we're losing. And there could be a lot of barakah in time if you really wanted to utilize it properly. And this is why the likes of Imam Yahya ibn Ma'in, rahmatullah alayh, he was the teacher of Imam Bukhari. Amazing, amazing Imam, rahmatullah alayh. He wrote 1 million hadith with his own hands. You try and write it down. And it is not that he knew it over time. He went to people, city to city, walking, sometime on ride, and getting it, collected it, and keep writing it. Imam Muhaddisun and Fuqaha. Imam Jarir al-Tabari, he wrote that many pages, nearly 3,500, 100,000 pages. In those days, pages were long, and you can't write like a pen, which is with a ballpoint that it just flows without it. It's a dipping, writing. You can write maybe one word, and you have to go back to that. It takes that longer time, and they utilize it for the best because there was a lot of barakah in that. And even modern time, you could go to Sheikh Taqi Usmani, Mufti Taqi Usmani, one of the greatest Imam of the time. He has written so much work, you feel like, how could someone do it in that little time? You know, his tafsir that he has done, the translation of Quran he did, all during his flight from one city to another city, one country to another city. All of that was done while he was traveling, just during travel. All of the Quranic translation that he has done, this is called Noble Quran, in Urdu and in English both. He just did it while this is him saying it. He mentioned it in his talk. No time. So he said, okay, every time I'm on the plane, keep writing it. Such is the value of what do we do in our time? The best of us waste our time. Maybe at the most do a little bit of dhikr, maybe a little prayer, and we don't utilize it at all because we do not value it. These are the people who do. And that is why he could do the best of the tafsir. His tafsir is coming, in sections now, 4 or 5, maybe 6 volumes are already out. I've got 4 of them. One juz, 1 volume, tafsir, maybe 30 volumes. His commentary on so many different books and so many texts, a lot. He wrote 1,000 books. 1,000 books, more than 1,000 books actually. How could they do it? Imam Nawawi rahmatullah, he was only 45 when he passed away. And he wrote a lot of his stuff. You'd be amazed to see how many pages, how much was he doing. Anyway, Imam Ibn Asakir, only on one topic, which is history of Dimashq, he wrote 80 volumes. So it's just amazing. That is, along with that, they would spend a lot of time dedicated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing one completion of Quran in Ramadan, sometimes 2 in a day. 8 hours it would take for one person, but they would have barakah in their time. Allah would help them. And that is why on the day of judgment, the people would say, لَيْسَ يَتَحَسَّرُ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ إِلَّا عَلَى سَاعَةٍ مَرَّتْ بِهِمْ لَمْ يَذْكُرُ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى فِيهَا. There will be no time spent that they would regret, the people of Jannah, except the time they wasted without remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Coming in the masjid, standing there after prayers, talking to him, and hey, how are you? Even for that much. If you did not remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you feel, if I utilized it, I would have been even closer, that much closer to this Sahabi, maybe to the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, maybe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If, wow, why did I do that? That will be the only regret for people of Jannah. No leaning, no leaning. Old people are allowed to, if they have back problem. Time is like a sword. Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah alayh, he said, Al-waqtu kas-sayf. Time is like a sword. If you do not cut it properly, it would cut you. It would cut you off. Because then you would realize what happened. And it's passing. Regardless, whether you're sleeping, whether you're doing dhikr of Allah, whether you're doing something good or bad, it continues to move, continues to flow. It is like ticking all the time. Nothing can stop it. It's like a competition when you have on your games. The timer is there. You can't say, give me a second, can I have a pause? No, you can't. Time continues to go. Even if you break the clock, take all the, clock of the world away, all the digital, you just stop them all. Does it stop the time? Time continues. It doesn't depend on these clocks. Life is passing by like the melting ice, very quietly, slowly, slowly, breath by breath. This is the translation of the couplet in Urdu. हो रही है उम्र मिसले बर्फ कम चुपके चुपके रफ्ता रफ्ता dam ब dam. Every breath is just dripping and dripping. So one has to be very, very careful about passing the time. So don't let any second pass except that we have utilized it. We should try that, aim that. Obviously, we make mistake, then we come back to it. This is why Imam Hassan al-Basri rahmatullah alayhi say, Yabna Adam, O children of Adam alayhi salam, innama anta ayyam. You are the time, you are the days. كلما ذهب يوم كلما ذهب يوم, whenever a day passes ذهب بعضك. Some of you is going. It's not the time has gone, it's you have gone. So you are made of, say, 70 years in your life. These are your body parts. So you're made of those time. Imagine that a man and ourselves, each cell is a time. And every second, something is dropping off your body. If you're made like this, and Allah made it so clear to you, Allah hid it, that's why we can't see. If Allah made it such that I'm standing and talking to you, while talking to you, each small bit of me, a grain of me is dropping. And you could see me dropping, and you could see yourself drop. Everyone is seeing it. We would say, don't even waste time to ask who I am on, what am I doing? How are you? No one would waste their time. In olden days, we used to have this telephone, the trunk call. You remember the calls? If you want to call from here, so my father, he was here for the operation he had about the knee. So he was here in 75. And then later on as well. So he made a call maybe once or twice to check upon the children, us back in Pakistan. So he was here with the youngest one, Fahim, my brother, who passed away as well. Mom and these three were here. So they would call, and when he was promoted to work in Saudi Arabia, so he would call us. So especially when he was in UK, the call, it would just be a message specifically said, Salaam alaikum rahmatullah, wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah, just listen, out. Because if you ask and waste any minute, it will be just keep ticking. You could see the clock ticking. They're like, the penny dropping. It's literally penny dropping, not metaphorical one, but the truly. So you would say, and I came here in 1992 the first time. I saw that. I did it as well. So I'm calling my mom back home, and I could see the numbers are just next pound, 50p. You feel like, oh my goodness, you're going to waste a lot of money on this. You value that. That is why they stopped doing it. It doesn't give you any hint. So you only know it after, I spoke to someone on phone and that was the cost. Then you don't do it. They don't want you to not do it, because this is against commercialism. It is against consumerism. Waste as much as you like and keep giving us. That's the idea of the modernity. So this is why Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah would say, the greatest of the worst of the wasting is two wasting. One is wasting of the heart and wasting of the time. When you waste your heart for other than Allah, your time, the heart liking, whatever you like is devoted to other than Allah, or the time that you wasted in other than the remembrance of Allah. Those are the two biggest loss that people have, and we are wasting it. Look at that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is the traveler that goes, and you can step on that. Whether you're talking or you're sleeping or doing nothing, it continues to take you. That's the time. Keep taking you to your destination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ أَجَلٍ. There's a time for everyone and for every individual. إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ, when the time comes, there's no preceding and no postponing. You can't do it. فَلَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. No يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ means no preponing and no postponing it. It would just be exact time, the sign that is there, exactly. You can't go behind. It says in ours, that's not the right translation actually. It's a sa'a. Sa'a means a second as well. It means clock, it means 1 hour, it also means the life hereafter, it also means second. But here it means a sa'a and a second. You can't even push it by a second. And that's what it says. There was one of the travelers like that, it says right at the end, beware, it stops suddenly. And this is your life, it stops suddenly. You don't know. Whatever that time is, you will just be dead. So don't waste our time. We should value. This is why the greatest of the Imams, Imam Dawood al-Ta'i, rahmatullahi alayhi, a saint, man, he said he would never eat bread with the curry. He would make it in small pieces, put it in that few hours doing his what activity he needs to do, and he would just have it like a soup. So it takes less time. He never had it in his life, thinking that I'm wasting my time. I'm not asking you to do that, but I'm just suggesting how people value their time. There was someone who came to this sheikh, said, "Ya sheikh, I want to have a mas'ala while you're teaching." He said, "If you could save, you could pay me for each second that I'm going to talk to you, then yes. Otherwise, go away. Don't waste my time. I can't waste, there's a time for that. Not at this point while I'm teaching. So don't waste my time on that." People were just so eager and careful about this. So what are the practical steps? Few points very quickly, inshallah ta'ala. This is for the older boys, so small kids can go to their classes. They might not benefit from it. So if the teachers and the small kids from age 5 to 7, they can go to their classes. 8, 9, 10. Book 4 and 5 and 6, they can stay here. So how do you value it? Obviously, we all want to do it. I know no one would disagree whatever I've just said. You all want to do it, except how? Everyone wants to do it, but no one does it. That's the problem, other than those highly, select and elect people from the Ummah. The way is, we have to have goals in our life. We have to set goals. The trouble is, we always aim for something then. No, it's now. So it has to be some very short-term goal, and they should be smart. They should be very, very smart goals. What are they? S stands for very specific. It should be very clearly defined goal. It should be measurable. You should be able to identify what, how much. It should be achievable. Not I'm going to be half in the next 2 months. No, not at all. You can't do that. Ask someone who is more sensible and senior and knowledgeable to tell you what you can achieve. It must be achievable. It must be relevant to your goal. I want to write the translation of Quran, copy this Quran and copy with my own. No, that's not something that you would benefit from. It's not needed for you. I want to be Mufti Taqi Usmani. He was traveling, I was doing it. I'm going to copy that. No, you don't. It's not for you. That's not your task. He's Imam of the times. He has to do it, not you and me. We will do what is relevant to me. You understand that? Subhanallah. Mufti Shafi Sahab, Hafizahullah, perhaps, or Maulana Zakaria, one of the two. Rahmatullah. Perhaps Maulana Zakaria, Rahmatullah. He was once, he said, Dad asked me to recite Quran. I was just memorizing it and reading it to him. After Maghrib prayer, we prayed together. And I stood up and I started after my 2 sunnah, 2 nafil, my awwabin. Extra nawafil there. I started doing it. As I said, Allahu Akbar, Dad saw me. He came and he slapped me and he dragged me into it, asked me to break it, go and do your sabak. I said to myself, बड़े मियाँ खुद भी नहीं पढ़ते, हमें भी नहीं पढ़ने देते, नफिल पढ़ रहे और हमें रोक रहे. Meaning that this old man is not doing his extra nawafil and not even letting me do it. Why? Why the father didn't let him do it? Because you're doing irrelevant thing. It's not for you. You're a student. You're supposed to do hifz at this point. Do your hifz. This is your hifz time. Don't go into tahajjud and do your extra nawafil or tawabin or any other nawafil. No, it's not beneficial for you. You have to do what is relevant for you. I'm sitting here. Can I go and do gasht here? No, not at all. Not going to get benefit from that. That's not your task at this point. Oh, there's a nice talk going on in the masjid, and I'm supposed to be standing in my shop selling something. Can I attend this talk? Dr. Salim is doing a very good talk on time. Not at all. That's not your time. Go and do what is your task at this point. How would you know? You would ask someone who knows better. You don't make those decisions until you become trained enough and sensible enough to do it on your own. And it must be time bound. I've got a decision. I'm planning to do Surah Baqarah. How long a period? Inshallah, in the next few years. No, not say 5 years or 1 year or 10 years, 50 years. I don't mind. There has to be a measurable, time-bound, clear-cut decision, so that you can be penalized for that. I would do next day. I would do that. Keep doing it. Never done it. Why? Because you haven't got a time attached to it. So what is the ultimate goal? That's already clear. We have some goals, inshallah. The goal is to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through following the Quran and Sunnah, the tenets of Islam. Knowing the do's and don'ts is extremely important. That's all goal. But what is the short-term goal? The goal ahead for the time being, the biggest time that we have. Okay? Holiday period. Now that we have got that. This is the time we are all thinking about our holidays in the next few days, maybe a little bit after the next week, maybe definitely by the end of July, you'll be all in the mood of this, my holidays, and plans about holidays. And all of those holiday period, and certain people who have done your exam, GCSEs and A-levels, you already are in this holiday. What have you done? You look back and you find out, actually you've wasted it all. You feel relaxed. You sense this entitlement. You know what? Since I've worked very, very hard for the exam, I should be doing whatever I want to do and wasting my life here, thinking that justified, isn't it? And people say, yes, yes. And parents do not help. Teachers do not help. They actually say, if you work hard now, then I would let you do whatever you want to do after the holiday period. And the kids say, okay, fine, let me do it. And they just do it. Coming the, finishing of the exam, they are just on the route to destruction and road to destruction. Not interested in thinking about anything. Now you can't convince them. Say, oh no, but are you wasting time? Why are you wasting time? But I did have a lot of hard in my mind. I'm fixated that I've worked hard. And to be honest, you wasted a lot of time doing those studies as well. We know how much you spend. We know, or you know as well. We don't want to know though. You want to turn a blind eye to that. That's a problem. Very unwise. Shouldn't do that. In the name of, oh, I'm just relaxing. Even the parents, I've worked whole my weekend or weekdays. Now it's the weekend. Let me just have some time off. Recreation. Have you heard this word from your parents? I'm unwinding. Unwind. It's very important. I was working hard. So I have to have some time to unwind. Have you heard that from your parents ever? Grandparents ever? It's saying someone sitting in the examination hall, writing for 6 hours or 3 hours exam. We used to do 8 hours exam. I did that USMLE, long exam. But yes, 6 hours exam. So this is 3 hours exam. You're sitting on a 2 hours exam. And in that, you're thinking of having some recreation. Are you crazy? It will be after the exam, man. And that is when you die. Exam is over when the time finishes. That's when you finish your exam. And in that examination hall, your focus is on in between fun. And it's not limited to one. How many breaks? 5, 10, 15, 20, as many. Anyone coming in with something, here you go, I have got this nice rattle. Anyone is interested in that? Yeah, can I have a little? Nice food, nice cookies. Anyone for this new, what you call the brownies, or the cookies, or the ice cream? Yeah, can I try that? New style food. Everyone is now enjoying the sushi, uncooked fish. Oh, everyone does it. Are you crazy? Oh, okay, yeah, I will go for it as well. You see how we are completely made into crazy person. We worked hard. Let's just go to such and such a place. We need to take some time off, isn't it? And this is while the clock is ticking and examination paper is there. I will do it when I come back. This is what we're doing in our life. And thinking about what's next fun coming after this hard work that I've done. But you haven't done hard work yet. Your hard work ends when you die. Think about that individual who is focused on what is the ambience like, what is the light like, how much carpet, this, that, where am I sitting? I don't want to sit with him. Oh, who are you? Keep arguing with people rather than writing anything in the paper, rather than focusing on the task. Isn't that crazy? It looks so obvious. It's so obvious. I know you all know it. Except that we are made to believe that this is all rubbish. Don't worry about that. Just focus on your fun. It's only once. This is what I say. If it was more than one life, it would have been fantastic. Then I would say, go and do whatever you want. Maybe second, third time, learn your lesson. Next time you become donkey, maybe dog, maybe a rat in the next life. Like Hindu concept of karma would have been like, some option. And being dog might not be as bad nowadays if they don't kill you straight away. Like in some places they do. So if you've been, looked after by a nice family, oh wow, good. You're sleeping in their bed, you're having best food, haven't got to do anything except for fun. I think being even dog is not a bad idea. But when you know that this is the only life you have, and you have to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you'll be questioned about what you have written in the paper with every detail that you have got. Someone is noting down what you're doing. You've been monitored with cameras all around you. Every second is being measured. من يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. Every dot of action that you've done, good or bad, you see it. Is that sensible then to waste your time into this idea of fun, enjoyment, recreation? There's a lot of, and all of that is built in certain things. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already catered for us. Instead of we don't want to see that, we want to see grass is greener on the other side, they say. Then he is having fun, so let him have it. He is wasting his life. I can't be doing it. I need to just write my paper. Do you get impressed by the person, by the boy in your class writing the paper, and then every so often standing up to go to toilet? He's done 5 times already in the last half an hour. And he's taking rest here and there. He just is stretching and then talking, hasn't got anything to write in the paper. And then as soon as teacher says, you can leave. If you have completed the paper, hand in and go. He's the first one to go. And he only wrote maybe 5 lines altogether. None of the questions answered properly. You get impressed by that person? You feel that he's done all the fun here. Wow, what a lovely man. He had all the fun because he had to eat this. He got his tiffin out, pizzas and whatever different food that he has. And he was enjoying his, we used to have that. I don't know what you have now. These gadgets put on your head and listen to the music and dancing and party, whatever he could do. And you feel impressed by that individual? If you have time to look at him, then you are dumb yourself. If you are writing your paper and thinking about and looking at what people are doing and then following them, even worse, how dare you have even the time to look at what people are doing around you rather than focus on your life, because there's no focus as such. And we are to be blamed. We do not have, and that's why the children do not have it. We teachers do not have, so what the children don't have it. We parents don't have it. That's why no one has it. Whole society is following this craze of shaitan in the wrong way, completely away from Jannah. Jannah is here and everyone is going there. You know what? Can't be bothered. There are only few people on this lane. Let me just see. Maybe that's the right track because everyone is going there and I can see there's a lot of fun on those tracks. I'm just going 180 degrees away, thinking that I'm the right person. So specific task, make specific targets. Whatever you want to memorize, if you wanted to do that, whatever is, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be Quran memorization. Ideally, Muslims should have that as a target. Something that you want to do. Whatever, some dua I want. Tajweed, which is fard. I don't know how to recite Quran properly. Have the proper, tajweed. So focus on that. Learn some skills. If you're not interested in so much of these religious education, fine. It's not must that you should know the basic. You should know tajweed, you should know basic fiqh. Don't worry. Don't become alim. You don't want to become alim, not a problem. Don't become hafiz. It's not must to be hafiz. There's some portion of Quran you must know. But rest, learn some decent, sensible skills. Join some courses. Get some IT skills, some, handiwork, something that you could do. You could just support your own family. Help them out in certain, do some charity work, go out and do, not to CV enhancement, not for that reason, but to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to serve the mankind. When you had whole last year, 2 years that you were working for your exams and for your worldly achievements, focus some time and dedicate some time to give back to this earth, give back to the people, give back to even animals, give back to the society ahead and around us. There's a lot of favor that we got from the society, from our people, from our governments. Pay back some of that. Just even if it means that you go and do this street cleaning. If you can't do anything, you're not good for anything, then just go and take the broom and do the cleaning on the street, the pavements here and there. Take some of the bits which people throw here and there, clean it. just as a dedication to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You be the most pious person out there who follows the commands of Allah, stay away from haram, and sweeping the streets for people. So that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Imatatul adha anit tariq," removing the harmful objects from the street, from the pathways, is part of faith. This is part of faith, iman. And that is why Mufti Taqi Ismail said, what is the flip side to that? Mafhum mukhalif. We Hanafis take mafhum mukhalif, not in fiqh issues, in detailed fiqh issues, but in these matters we do. I've mentioned it because someone will say, oh, but we do not have the value of mafhum mukhalif. No, that's in fiqh rulings. This is not a fiqh ruling, this is just spiritual, akhlaqiyat. Definitely we take it here. So if removing harmful objects from the path is part of faith, what would be this action of adding to the suffering of people on the path? Throwing the peel, throwing the crisp bag, this and that on the street, parking wrong way, causing harm to people. What would that be branch of? What would be that the branch of? Through mafhum mukhalif, opposite of that. If removing that is part of faith, putting that would be part of kufr, part of disbelief in Allah. It's not as easy, I don't. No, you can't do that. Anything which is harmful, that shouldn't be done. You can do all of that. If you can't do anything for people because you who do not have that much of concern for people and you're completely selfish individual, at least do on your own. Get yourself stronger. A believer which is stronger is better than the one who is weak to be a good believer. So you can be utilized in the future for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for something good. Can't do anything, help the family, help the house, clean your own house. If you can't do the cleaning outside, you feel very shy and embarrassed. People would see and say, subhanAllah, doing good deeds, and we feel embarrassed. Doing all the bad deeds on the street, people are being in whichever form and fashion on the street, they don't feel shy about that. And we follow them as a trend. Doing good thing, can't be bothered. It looks so odd. No, I can't be sweeping or cleaning the street. I can't be picking that up. It looks so odd. Stop. Aren't you just worse than animal if you like that? Even animal wouldn't feel embarrassed. If you train them to do it, they would go and do it. They're monkeys who do it. If you train them, they would go and pick it up for you. Not a problem. You train your dog as well. So go and collect that, they will collect, they will give it back to you. Help with the house repair. Any problem? Help with the household work, kitchen work. Learn some stitching, some painting, some calligraphy, something positive that may nurture you into a good human being rather than being completely crazy. So organize your time. Okay? Organize, make a plan. Get a proper plan. Think about that. What would you do? Hour by hour, if not possible, at least few hours. So in the morning, I would wake up, say 8, 9, whatever time after Fajr I slept, and I would wake up, say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I would take my whatever breakfast, shower, my ishraq, and then I would just have a little bit of rest, talk to family and whatever, chat, and then do this, do that, and for Dhuhr time. And after Dhuhr, I would have spent a couple of hours playing if I wanted to play something, a decent something which is sharan, okay, Islamically okay, not haram. Haram means that there's nothing that would divorce you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you're wasting that time. We'll come to that in a minute. And if you couldn't complete that task, then you just review back. Oh, what went wrong? Why didn't I task myself, perhaps I've done overly. I should have shown it to someone, to my mom and dad, they would have corrected it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Husn Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni." From the beauty and the perfection of the faith of a believer is that they refrain from anything which doesn't concern them. Futility, vain, rubbish stuff that would not give them any benefit in this dunya or in the life hereafter. Okay. So if you look at all the actions, this is the scheme there. So first you look at the action that you're doing, whatever that may be. Is it halal or haram? If it is haram, there's no question. You can't go there unless you want to go against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's permissible, then look at whether it's worldly related, world related, or it is from the akhirah point of view. If it is from the world point of view, look at whether it's beneficial or not. Otherwise, it'll be futile. It'll be a waste of time. Again, it's not befitting for a believing person. If it's beneficial, even then look at that. It's beneficial, but is it necessary? It's worldly something, but it's not necessary. I could have done something better than that. So if it's not necessary, leave it for something which is more necessary or perhaps better. Go for that. And if it's not beneficial, yet it is necessary. You have to do it. For example, you might not find that action interesting or beneficial to you. Rather, it's time consuming, it's perhaps wasting your money and everything. Go and get that milk bottle because you haven't got anything for the tea. And kids wouldn't have anything for cereal. So you have to go out and do it. Is it beneficial worldly wise? No, it's a waste of time. You could have done that yesterday, but you forgot. So although it's not good, but it is necessary, you have to go. 3 o'clock in the morning, you have to go. Small babies crying for milk, you have to go out and do whatever. So that's important to understand and learn. And finally, if it is for the life hereafter, even then you will look at whether this life hereafter beneficial thing is it really the best one. As I said, I'm going out and doing some charity work while I'm supposed to be in madrasa here, where I'm enrolled. I'm supposed to be doing my Fajr prayer. I actually waste my time doing something else. Then no, I have to look at the action and make sure if it's akhirah-wise, it is in keeping with all the benefits around it. Go and mull over it. Think about that and get better. Unnecessary gathering, they waste a lot of time. People just waste a lot of time in chit-chat, wasting their time without thinking. So make sure that you do not go to any of such gatherings where there'll be wasted of time. Adults do that more than the kids, but kids do as well these days. So make sure that we do not waste. For no reason, keep talking about something which is just futile. And even then, you know what? It is highly unlikely. Maulana Shafiq Ali Thanvi Sahib rahmatullahi mentioned, it's highly unlikely that you do something which is in vain, which is futile, and it doesn't lead you ultimately to good, to haram. It would lead you sooner or later to haram, because it starts off with a permissible thing, and that is why the question, is it permissible, is not the right question. The question is it beneficial or not? Is it going to benefit me or not? Not that, is it okay to do? No, wrong question. Don't ask me that question. That's wrong question. The question should be, is it beneficial? Bring me close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you would get the right answer. A companion came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he asked this question, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Mata sa'a, when would the day of judgment be? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, why this question? What is the benefit of that? He didn't respond. Then he posed a question before responding. He said, Ma a'adatta laha. What have you prepared for that? You're so concerned about knowing the day of judgment? That's not important. The important thing is, are you ready? Have you prepared yourself for that? Then you start talking about, yes, I've done this and I'm doing this. And that's good. That's a decent discussion. Yes, prepare for that. Meaning, don't waste your time in questioning things or about things which are not going to be of any benefit to you. That's futile. That you're wasting your time and wasting the time of the person being questioned, the teacher or master, whoever. So don't do that. But people do it, unfortunately, without realization, because we haven't got any sense of losing time and wasting time in the name of, oh, I'm having a good time with the repo, I'm building this relationship with my children. No amount of sin, no matter with how much sincerity you do, would benefit you in any way. It would benefit you should you leave Islam. Yeah, then you would get benefit, as the non-Muslims get. Because for them, this dunya is paradise. Ad-dunya sijnul mu'mini wa jannatul kafir. This world is a paradise for disbelievers and is a prison for a believer. For them, it is okay because Allah has given them everything in this world so they can continue to benefit. However much they put in, they would get the results out, if Allah will. For believers, life hereafter. Any disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be punished for that here and there. Jaza'ul a'mal is a must. Mufti Maulana Shafiq Ali Thanvi Sahib rahmatullah alayhi, he's written an amazing book on that. And that's something people should read ideally every day with the children, so that they know, or at least once a week, to know all the evidences and how people would cause themselves a big disservice by committing wrong, thinking that I would say tawbah and I'll be fine. Not at all. It doesn't work like that. When you make a mistake, yes, when you repent, there's no punishment in the life hereafter. In the world, you get the effect of that. It's like you have this, Jamal Gota, castor oil. Yeah, we call it Jamal Gota. There's castor oil. If you have a bit of that, it will give you the maximum amount of diarrhea you can have. However much you can excrete out, it will be non-stop, literally pool of poo in the toilet. That's the worst type of, laxative, we call it. Don't have it. So you didn't realize it was put inside the sweet, inside. نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Sorry, there was a glitch about battery, so we just go back to where we started. So we were saying that we have to be a bit more careful as to what we are doing in our lives. Organize time and avoid unnecessary gathering, and then safeguarding your tongue. Don't say a few things. Yes. Okay. One of the most important aspects is this muhasaba. Muhasaba means self-reckoning, assessment. Without assessment, nothing works. So every day, ideally, when you come home, so you look at your task. I had these 5 extra things needed to be done before going to bed. Have I done it? So you all are clever enough to make Excel sheet. Put that Excel sheet, put your task for the days with time and everything. Then next to it is a column where you just say, done, not done, done, not done. And next to it is a comment section where you say, why not? And how would you mend it? Oh, since I had this and some guest came or dad asked me to do this extra thing, so I couldn't do that, and I would do it tomorrow. I got the permission from mom or dad or from my teacher, from my mentor, whoever. Or I just, rescheduled it. I didn't realize that there was a program from mom and dad. I didn't show it to them, or I showed it, but they didn't realize either. So something happened. So make a comment of that. So next time I'm not going to do that. I will do it this way. So even improvement there. So without that, you would feel, if I ask you how many times when we were waiting for class to start, and I asked you to do Durood Sharif, if I ask you, I can guarantee that no one, hand on heart, it may be exception, can tell me how many times you've done Durood Sharif. You counted it, how many? 400, 200, mashallah. So see, 200 times because you valued it. That time was important. And none of you would have known, isn't it? Why that? It's not important to have the count because angel is doing it. But alhamdulillah, through that, you know that you have not wasted your time. And you would think, oh, I've done so many times. How many? Don't know. It was 3 or 4 times afterwards you were starting to do, hello, how are you wasting your time moving here and there? And you thought that you have done that many times, but you only done maybe 10 times. You forgot about it. So that is why muhasaba is key. You always have muhasaba, checking, analyzing, improving. That is why everyone who goes to work knows that they do annual audit. What is audit? Audit is just the muhasaba. It's checking what you have done, and you just compare it with the standard. Is that according to standard the right thing? If not, then you mend it. And why that was, you just get some recommendation, just get it better. Okay, so extremely important. I'm not going to go through that. Just think about how you could sort. The worst thing that one can do with regards to their time is the company. And it could be the best as well. It's double-edged sword. The company is extremely important. So you have to have a good company. You must avoid the bad company. A few points on that, and then we finish, inshallah, in the next few minutes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says on the day of judgment, what would happen? Al-akhillah, the best of the friends, the buddies. You know, when you, the one that you always want to be with, spend time with it, keep nudging and keep pointing and keep winking and keep thinking that he's the best buddy. I want to be with him. I don't want to be with him, but him. That's my best friend, whoever. The best. Allah says on the day of judgment, they would be enemies to each other. Al-akhillau yawma idhin ba'dhum li ba'din adu illa al-muttaqin. Except for the pious people, except for the righteous people, everyone would be enemy to each other. You will be your best friend's enemy on the day of judgment because you are the one who wasted all my time. You were distracting me for everything. I couldn't do my hifz, I couldn't do my exam, I couldn't do anything. I was just a loser because of you. And he would say, you are the same to me. I hate you for that. People would just be shunning each other out. And here we think, oh, that's my buddy. You would realize on the day of judgment, bad company is the worst thing one can have. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Innama mathalul jalisi salih wa jalisi su." Indeed, the simile or the example of a righteous companion and a bad companion is kahamil misk. For the righteous one is the person who holds perfume, the perfume owner, the person who has perfume. If you go with him, if you sit with him, even if he doesn't give you any perfume, even if you didn't take any from him, even if you don't buy from him being perfumed with that, or him having a shop of perfume and you entering there, just by being there in that company, you would benefit. You would reap the benefit. You would get that momentarily, refreshing mind. Your soul would be perfumed with that for that little period. A nice breeze, that makes you feel good. Even for the person who is really in trouble, a nice smell for a second would just change your outlook for that moment. Having the companies like this, the longer the better, the more the merrier. And وَنَافِخِ الْقِيرِ, the blacksmith, how they keep blowing and keep getting soot and black, smoke coming and spoiling our clothes and everything. You go there only for a second and come out. You feel like my mind is just completely with that smell, fully clouded. You can't think right. You may get headache, get some soot on your clothes. So this is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained. And then he said, Al-mar'u ala dini khalili. Man is upon the deen, upon the religion of his friend, the best friend. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ. Let every one of you see, مَنْ يُخَالِلْ. Who is he befriending with? Who is his companion? Who is your best friend? You are going to be on his deen. You'll be following his path very soon, sooner or later. Because the friends, they demand your time, your skills, your everything. And they make you do things which you don't want to do. You only do it to please him because he's your buddy. This is why one of the signs of the end of time is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, children would honor their friends and prefer their friends over their father. They would not listen to the dad command, they would listen to the friend's command or the friend's command. And we call them friends. Who is that friend? He's not a friend actually. You feel that friend is, how would you know? That's a bad company. Friends are good as well. So you want to be with good friends. The, the bad company is the friend who are involved in disobedience of Allah, His Messenger, and your parents as well, who will lead you to disobey your parents. Is not your friend, can't be your friend. Obviously, if he is calling you to do something haram, wrong, whatever. Likewise, your teacher. The friend is making you do something different. He's not your friend anymore. Your mentor, spiritual master, whoever, the imam of the masjid, he said, brother, can you just come and sit here for the talk or fill this gap? Your friend just nudge you. Or he just standing there, meaning, I'm here, why are you going there? Stand next to me, man, come on, what sort of budiness is it? Without saying anything, he said all of that. And you said, no, I'm not moving. Allah said in the Quran, you did not disobey this imam, you'll be sinful. There's a sin for that. Allah said, إِذَا قِيلَ لَكُمْ تَفَسَّحُوا فِي الْمَجَالِسِ فَافْسَحُوا. When Allah says, it's said to you, obviously only imam is going to say, create a space, do it, Allah says. Allah commanding you and you're not listening to Allah, you're listening to your friend. Allah says you to honor and respect your parent, and you're just so ugly and bad in your character that you would just speak back to your father, to your mother. You tell them, oh, get out. I don't want to see you. Leave me alone. I want my privacy. Can't be bothered. All those harsh words, even one, it will spoil your dunya and akhirah. Remember saying one thing, even if you mend it afterwards. And I've got scores of examples of that, where people disobeyed and disrespected their mother and father, even in the lifestyle. That is why Quran says, don't even say uff to them. Uff to them. They said, and then when they're old and frail, doing at that time, when they're really dependent on you, the father and the mother, they're so frail and weak that they're dependent on you. And you feel completely like, I can do whatever. I can actually throw him out of the window. Even at that time, you say something, and they would say, because they get dementia, they get completely like fed up, sitting there doing nothing. They keep saying few things. There's certain old men, they will keep asking the same thing. Old women, go ahead. Someone knocked at the door. What problem? What has it got to do with you? You feel like, after 4, 5, 6 times, you feel like saying, Dad, leave him alone. There's no one there. They keep saying, wo kya keh raha hai? Wo kya? They want to know about everything because they can only see things, but they don't understand. And that is very testing. You feel like, Dad, please don't do it. I'm doing some office work. Keep asking. You must have read that seen that small clip, have you? With this old man, with a young man sitting in the garden. This old man had a little bit of early dementia. He just wanted to. There was a bird came, same, in the park, and he said, "What is that?" Because he was early in dementia style, whatever, lapsing of memory. He said, "Oh, it's a bird." After a few seconds, said, "Oh, son, what is that?" That is a bird. That I told you, this is bird. Fifth time that. Are you teasing me? Why are you wasting my time? Why you keep asking the same question? And then Dad was completely shocked. He stood up, he went inside, he brought a calendar, a notebook, and sat next to the son and said, "Son, have a look." And the picture was of the same place, exactly same place. And he said, 20 years ago, you were only 3. You asked this question 21 times. And every time, and it was written there, my son asked me about the bird. And I answered that. And every time he asked me, I answered and kissed him and gave him a big hug. And I was smiling. Next time, he did 21 times. I could not forget those beautiful moments when he kept asking, "Oh, my dad, what is this?" And I kept telling him. I never felt frustrated by that. And I was just checking, what is your reciprocation of that? I only did it for 3 times or 4 times, then you're completely agitated. You understand? Very important to know. Obviously, you guys don't know any of that because you live in a different world. Likewise, even the family, if they cause you to neglect your goal, your target, you've already got the target, your responsibilities, You're supposed to clean the kitchen today. You're supposed to do some hoovering today. You've not done that. Remember, that is not your company. Bad company is going to be a sense of big loss on the day of judgment, and you'll be regretting it. Your focus has been nudging or doing things in the class, destroying your focus, not your friend. Definitely not. Whether you like it or not, he's not. And there's a new bad company, this mobile phone. Everyone knows. Or laptop, or even tablets of any sort, gadgets, surfing on the net, books, novels, new books. I've got this about whatever. What is the value of that novel that you're reading? Is it going to bring you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You're just killing that time. Don't do that. It's not permissible to waste your time like that. And there would be, it is bound that these so-called very benign, simple story of someone, they always have their idea. The writer, he has his own agenda. He would impart his ideas and infiltrate in your mind. It would just penetrate your mind 3 or 4 times. You do the same, you start thinking in those lines. You listen to the same individual 10, 15, 20 times, you would start thinking in the same lines. That's why you go to the same program, same speaker, you start behaving like that without realization. Your idea gets corrupted. Everything has effect and impact on you. So make sure that you understand sinful stuff, program where there's music, where there's non-mahram people there, not covered properly. You're looking at them thinking, oh, okay, it's not okay. Obviously not okay. Many games have got a lot of haramness in it through the ideas, through the thing that they're doing. And it is nurturing in you the sense of killing others, sense of having no respect for anyone, being completely disruptive, all wasting your time, your ideas, your thoughts. So extremely bad to be involved in such activities. Find out from the teachers, find out from your parents, find out from your mentor. Is it allowed? Just have a look at that game. So what you do, whatever you play, mom comes, what are you playing? Oh, switch. No, I'm not going to show you. No, it's my mind. I will do whatever. Privacy, go. You will find out. You are risking your own life. You will realize it, but be too late. You must, mom, this is what the game is about. This is what the novel is about. Can I? Someone who's sensible would say, no, don't do that. This is what happened. We're all tied up with this mobile. Don't waste your time. Another bad company nowadays, and that's the final bit, which is your seclusion with your own nafs. You are on your own. Phone, I've done enough 4 or 5 hours of phone. How much can I do on that? From Zohar to now, Asad, there's 4, 5, 6 hours. I'm sitting there, bored with everything. I've done whatever, all the haram in there. Now I'm thinking to myself, staring, having absence of seizures, perhaps. Allah knows. Wasting time in bed, moving here and there, thinking about life. At this time, because you are just on your own, shaitan is there to seduce you, to cause you to do haram things, to make you completely crazy psychologically. You're so vulnerable at that point. And you say, don't enter without knocking. Door locked. If someone does it, you become so irritated and frustrated because you don't want anyone to spoil your privacy. I live in my own world, fantasy. You keep thinking and stressing out about what? I've lost something in the past. You keep thinking, he's got that and she's got that. They're doing, and I'm loser. So you regret your past. What that would do, it will make you regret, be completely despondent, mayus, depression, all the diseases start coming in. You get some issues about the current time. I can't do that. The present time is just all waste. You're now wasting. You already regretted the waste that you have done. Now you're wasting now. This time, which you have to your hand to make it worthwhile, wasting it so that you can regret next one. Tomorrow you regret today. This is how Shaitan makes you go into this spiral. Like, no, it's all fine. Carry on. Everyone does it. So you become so ungrateful. What would you thank Allah about? We haven't got anything. I'm the most miserable family. My family is the worst of the. We don't have any fun. You can't do anything constructive or positive. And then you feel about what would happen tomorrow. You know what? I'm not good. I can't do it. Either you feel completely like that or be completely crazy. So no motivation. And then you lose your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it would lead you to kufr. That is why having hopelessness take you to kufr, disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All because you have got bad company. This bad company is you on your own, in the toilet, in your bedroom, wherever there's no one you can interact with. Don't do that. That's a worse company. And how do you know you're in this bad or any of the bad companies? No interest in positive, constructive activity. If you can't support anything, you can't give back anything, you can't think of doing something to help someone, then you are definitely in the bad company in impact of that. You're not connecting to righteous people. You don't feel like being sitting here. You don't feel like listening to the talk going on for too long. And you don't feel that there's any benefit in it. You're doing Quranic recitation, not interested. Dhikr, not interested. It means that you are already in a bad company, because that company is in your mind put against this good company. Think, you know what? I could have done. If I was at home, I wasted 2 hours in the masjid, maybe an hour and a half in the masjid. I would have done maybe this game, which means that bad company is influencing you and making you comparing this with this good company of Quran and dhikr and tasbih or whatever you're doing. I'm talking about any, like prayer, whatever good company. And you, in your decision, you go for the wrong one. I mean, you already have got a bad company and you are a product of that. And through that, you can only see with that lens what is good. Everything is bad because this is the best company. You continue to be in that. It's like being addict. They always enjoy what they've been doing. And you get irritation from the lectures, from the talks. Someone said, do that. Oh, why? Every positive thing said to you, which is beneficial to you, which is safeguarding you, you regret, you complain, you feel upset about, you feel irritated, you're completely miserable. And you don't connect with the pious people. You don't want to be in their company. Hello, hi, goodbye. But the most, if father said, go and say salam to dad, uncle, or dad's brother, or uncle, mom's father, or someone came, the relative, go and say salam to Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing? I'm fine. Run away back to my computer or back to my bedroom or my friend, whoever. And then you don't participate in day-to-day activities. You are not regularly involved with any activity. You haven't got anything in your plan for the day to do. You are told to do this and you just do it. You haven't got anything to look up for. What am I going to do tomorrow? What is my plan for this afternoon? Nothing. Just me and my phone and my room and my friend and my company. That's it. You are with your company. That is why a man is known by the company he keeps. That is why Rasulullah said, man is upon the religion of his company. Your company is shaitan. Your company is your nafs. Your company is your phone. Can't be better than that. And I even see that you do not have good friends to go out with, to hang around with. It was better if you just go out and spend some time with your friends walking here on the street, just to avoid this bad company, which is worse than that company. In olden days, we used to discourage kids to go out with the friend, because if they go out with a friend, the problem was that they may end up doing something wrong. No, that company is better than the company that you have indoors with your own self, your phone. So you don't engage yourself in family discussion. Family decision making, they're saying, shall we do this? Oh, don't know. Can I do that? Oh, not interested. Can I have this? Can't be bothered. Have you got any opinion? Nothing. What do you want to eat? Don't know. Whatever is there. Means that don't disturb my slumber. Don't disturb my company. I want to be the way I am. Leave me alone. That's what you're saying. Which means you're completely diseased with that cancer, and shaitan is keep affecting you. You don't realize it and you don't appreciate it. You will only know when you wake up on the day of judgment or when you die. And you say, wish someone dragged me into doing something positive. So we tried. You didn't listen. We tried our best, but you didn't listen. What can we do? Go, iltamisu nura. Go and see your own light. We can't benefit. No parents can benefit. Yawma yafirru al-mar'u min akhihi. People on that day would run away from their brothers. Wa sahibati wa akhi wa fasilati, everything. No one would benefit anyone. So don't waste your life. So the result, when you have that bad company, which is the cause of the wasting of every second, every time, even the adults thinking about all the negativities with the company that they are. Okay, he has got 2 houses now. He's looking for this. He's got 3 children. He's going to make another house. Oh, he's got this car and I've got this new gadget. कि पागलों की तरह, जानवरों की तरह उन्हीं गधों के साथ लगे हुए, उन्हीं गधों के रंगों में रंगे और समझ रहे हैं कि हम बहुत बड़े शायद सवार हैं. سوف ترى إذا انكشف الغبار فرس تحت رجلك أم حمار. سوف ترى, very soon you will see. إذا انكشف الغبار, when the dust settles, then you would see فرس تحت رجلك, is a horse under you between your 2 legs, like you're riding a horse, أم حمار, or a donkey. You think that you are on a horse, you're just going in the opposite direction on a donkey. Very soon you will realize. So you get introverted. You're not interested in anything. You become psychologically depressed and in so many different illnesses. People lose out on all the facets of life. They haven't got anything to contribute to the world. They're just a miserable, blemish to the ummah, to Muslim ummah, to the family. And slowly, people start looking at you like this, and you get depressed and depressed and depressed to the point that you don't want to see people. Now you want to do it, but you don't. Why? Because if I go, people say, "What have you done?" Nothing. Because they will say, "Oh, what was the achievement? Oh, you were doing his. Did you complete it?" No, actually, there was some issue, so we had to stop the hip because even mom and dad had to make up some excuses because you're so miserable that we can't help you. If you didn't, then you would feel, I can't see these people. They always ask me about it. I would just hide in my small comfort room. If I had something teether or a dummy, I would just start moving. What do I do? You like that? This is what you guys are gonna do, and complete failure results in a lot of suicide in the West. You see that? Why people suicide? Why people commit suicide? The richest of the rich, even they do. And nothing is important than your heart and the mind being in connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is only one way of tranquility in this world, through connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So get a mentor. The mentor would give you the right advice. That could be your parent, could be a relative, could be a teacher, imam, whoever. And discuss your program with them. Seek advice when you need it and show your progress. Get the feedback and apply those recommendations. Keep improving it. And a lot of zikr and dua to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Stay connected through all the day-to-day supplication, different situational du'as, and Allah would help you. May Allah give us tawfiq. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.